it shook so bad I couldn't even hold it.
Tremors.
Tremors. I couldn't even hold
Yeah. Show her what they were like. Show your tremors how bad they were. It would be like that. Now, and this is a glass bottle. It's heavy. And he would drink on it. Now I get a little bit of movement, but not, he could never take the bottle to his lips. What?
I told him that I couldn't write my name anymore.
Because you couldn't hold a
I
pen.
couldn't hold a pen.
And what's he do?
He gives me his pen.
He whips out his pen out of his pocket. The doctor, here. And Doug grabs the pen and he gives him a piece of paper and he writes his name in front of the doctor. And the doctor goes, I'm keeping this pen forever. And what's the name of this device? And he looks at the back. We told him about Cynthia starting her period. He runs back and he goes, how old is she? I said, she's 58. He goes, want to hear the rest of this story. You come back when you get into the ark.
Hey, Doug and Kathy, thanks so much for coming to spend time with me today.
But happy to be here.
Well, I'm happy to have you and hear your story, Doug. So can you start off by telling the listeners a little bit about how you were feeling prior to coming to QHS?
Well, I basically have had serious heart problems, 3 major issues, which I've been close to dying several times. I got congestive heart failure in 2001. Death, it was at my door many times. My ejection fracture rate went down to 16, which
Wow.
yeah, that's very low. AFib was diagnosed in 2012, and I was given a defibrillator for that, which controls that. The third item is more difficult. The third item is called ventricle
Tachycardia.
tachycardia.
VT.
Yeah, with that one, my blood pressure, my pulse rate went up to 280.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, when my doctor saw me, he said, you should be dead. You know.
Well, tell him how he really did it. When you were in the emergency room, he pointed his finger.
Oh yeah.
You should be.
You should be dead.
Now.
Now.
From what happened to you.
Well, God has other plans.
And he said the only reason you're here is what he did, the doctor. Because the defibrillator wasn't made for that part of the lower chamber. That's the lower chamber. The AFib's the upper chamber. The VT is the lower chamber and has a very high mortality rate, like 2 years. He got diagnosed with that like just a little over a year ago. So he's got 3 major things but the congestive heart failure for 23 years.
Wow.
But he also has something called PVCs that come in a normal person's fine, but when those PVCs hit him every couple weeks, it'll play havoc on all of it, but it mainly causes havoc with the congestive heart failure symptoms. So then we go through the whole thing of those symptoms, getting them better, and then it's the whole cycle all over again.
Oh,
So
geez.
He's had a lot of other things going wrong, but those are like major.
Well, there's one other major item, which is still in the process, which is I had a very bad fall where my left leg muscle tore loose and they weren't able to fix it. So
Well, it's
I
ripped apart totally. The tendon in his
Ripped
leg,
apart.
the major tendon in your leg, it's like you cut it off, you got a hematoma. Cut it off, it's never got connected. But then 3 weeks later, what happened in here? What happened? You twisted around
and fell on the floor,
and broke what?
broke my
Femur.
femur.
In the same spot. So therefore, major problems happened because he healed his femur eventually, but because of the torn tendon ripped apart, he's no security in that leg, because that's your major tendon running up and down the left side of your leg. He has to use a walker now because of that.
So you walk with a walker. Were they able to repair the muscle? No.
No.
Because it was such an emergency with the femur. When he went in there, he wasn't even looking at the muscle. It was a major redo of his hip joint and everything because of the femur. It was very serious. So whether or not they could have ever fixed it, we never know.
Yeah.
What that doctor say about screaming in the office and pointing his fingers, both of them, and said, "You will do what for the rest of your life?
Walk.
You will walk using 2 sticks or a walker for the rest of your life." That's what he said. Just wait till it goes to the ARC and we're going to show that picture.
Yeah, and he comes running into the office. That'll be awesome. So, Doug, when did you get your first device?
Back in this year.
Okay,
Yeah, you're March of
of last year.
2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what have you noticed with your devices?
Well, I have a much more positive outlook on things. I feel a lot happier in the environment. People tell me that I'm more outward going. They can see it in my face. I can't, but I'm very quiet. I just listened.
For like 3 hours straight,
Yeah.
right? So now when he goes to a family gathering, we'll do that because that's where we go more often. What would be known about you now?
I share in the conversation.
Interesting. That's so cool.
Because he lost that ability, because when you have congestive heart failure, and for so long, he was approved to get a heart, but he was too old to get a heart because he was 72 then. Now he's 81. So because he was too old, he was going to get an LVAD, which is a left ventricular device, which is a mechanical heart you wear for like 10 years with all the batteries. And when it runs out, you finally just dive in. So, but then he got better. And then he didn't need the mechanical heart.
Wow.
But all that happened. But what happens is the flow of even in your brain, the lack of flow of blood for so long, because it's been 23 years of this one disease. You lose the cognitive ability, not just because of the bad air or the food you eat and all of that, but because of the disease of not flowing normally in your brain for so long. You just don't think clearly. You're not as aware as you would be. It's not like Alzheimer's. It's not dementia. It's just the lack of something that happens from congestive heart failure. You know how many die after 5 years? That's your longevity for congestive heart failure.
Wow.
23 years. So a lot of his brain just wasn't functioning.
Yeah.
So the device, family members, like our daughter would say, "What now? What did she say to you?" Like, "Dad, what did she say?" She says, "What?"
You're talking so much more. Yeah.
Aw.
And even our littles, our grandchildren, they'll say, "What to Papa?" Papa's talking.
Yeah. Papa's talking.
So where he would just sit there, or we'd play family games, easy ones with the children. He'd be so frustrated because he couldn't process. Now, can you play some family games?
Yes.
Which game do you like? What's your favorite?
Like,
Backgammon.
well, no, that's not a family game. That's a game that you teach everybody else how to play.
Yeah.
But family game, fish, or Old Maid.
Old maid.
The games for yeah.
That's so fun. I love hearing that.
No, there's one thing. I was in a hospital, and my two main doctors visited me,
Oh,
and I told them that my right shoulder and was getting better. I had so much, it shook so bad I couldn't even hold
tremors.
Tremors. I couldn't even hold.
Show her what they were like. Show your tremors how bad they were. It would be like that.
Oh my gosh.
But a week after How long? Maybe a week,
a week,
maybe even less than a week.
right?
What, grab the bottle from here and you can show now, and this is a glass bottle. It's heavy. And he would drink on it. Now he get a little bit of movement, but not, he could never take the bottle to his lips.
Wow.
The tremors settled down, and you were telling which doctor?
One of the doctors,
The surgeon that put your aortic valve surgery, aortic valve in.
yeah, and then the other thing I
Wait,
told,
you gotta finish. So the story about the doctor, you were telling about your tremors, so you told him about what?
I told him that I couldn't write my name anymore.
Because you couldn't hold a
I
pen,
couldn't hold a pen.
and what's he do?
He gives me his pen.
He whips out his pen out of his pocket, the doctor, here. And Doug grabs the pen and he gives him a piece of paper and he writes his name in front of the doctor. And the doctor goes, I'm keeping this pen forever. And what's the name of this device? And he looks at the back.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. You showed him.
We told him about, he left the room. We told him about Cynthia starting her period. And the doctor runs back. He's like a young doctor. He's so cool. He runs back and he goes, how old are you? I said, she's 58. He goes, want to hear the rest of this story. You come back when you've been through the arc.
That's cool. That is so fun.
They're really good doctors. The other doctor, to the defibrillator doctor, he's taking the device and he go on. I go, don't write anything in his chart. He goes, I'm writing everything. He's writing, he's typing like a maniac, everything I'm saying about what's happening to Douglas, because they want to chart it. I mean, some doctors are really good. Other doctors who I could care less and they're still wearing a mask. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so crazy. It just, one day everybody's gonna know the truth.
But when the doctor was able to whip out the pen and see that he could hold it, write his name, but they didn't ever know how it was before. It was like, he hasn't written his name for 5 years, so this is how it would be. Or the
Wow.
bottle. He couldn't even hold a glass bottle. They all have plastic ones. So that was noticeable pretty rapidly, like with it. And you know, he was never depressed, but you said you felt
Awake. Happy.
see, but
Happy.
he always was happy anyway, but now he was expressing it. Like he felt really like he was aware. Oh, and another thing, what would you stare out the window? Because we have a big picture window here. What would you do before the device when you were looking out the window? How would you look out the window? Remember what I'm trying to say to you? You would kind of like just stare forever, just to stare and not even knowing what you're looking at. But when I then would observe him after the device, when he was talking about being calm and being happy, when he was looking out the window, I could tell he was looking at things like the rabbit across the street, or, oh, there's the bird, there's the cardinal, there's, you know, he was seeing things and not just looking. Different awareness on his brain, because I've been with him being sick for so long. I know when I'm seeing what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
It's different.
Well, also, I was on heavy medication
Big
for
one.
my heart. And after getting on the Q wave, I went and saw him and he.
No, you didn't see anybody.
Okay,
What did I notice after being on the Q wave? After like a week,
yeah, then
you were feeling how?
sick.
Tired, lethargic, out of breath, having to sleep. I'm going, holy crap, he's on way too much medicine. Because I know his medicine, I don't care, I'm going to say it. Better than the doctors, better than the nurses, because I'm having to teach some of the nurses that ever came to our house to take care of him, because they never knew how much I really knew. Because I know everything that I got to do to make sure no fluid on him, no, you name it, weight, blood pressure, all of it. So I go, I know what I got to do. So I switched around his medicines immediately when I realized after like 5 days, within 2 days, back to better normal. better.
Nice.
And when I talked to Dr. Alfredo on the phone about that, because he was on one of the calls, I was able to talk to him about it. He goes, you knew what to do, you knew his meds, and you did it. He was on a medicine overload.
Oh yeah, so many are.
So I knew what to take off and I knew what to keep on that would be the right ones, because for each disease, he's on a different type of medicine. But for the congestive heart failure, he was on 4 meds just for heart failure. Now he's on 1 for heart failure.
Wow.
But he
That's
was on,
awesome.
but then he's on 1 for AFib and 1 for VT. Those are different things that they have to control the arrhythmia, those chambers. So, but the heart failure was an overload of medicines.
You know, I went through last summer, I started getting irregular heartbeat. I do a lot of athletics. I was on a mountain bike ride and we had just been climbing this hill and all of a sudden we stop at this gate and I just felt a little lightheaded and dizzy. And that was the first day that I started noticing this. And it usually, not always, but usually it came on with with intense exercise. After getting my device, I have not had a single episode. And I can work out super hard. Like this morning, I killed it at CrossFit and it was a cardio workout, but it's like, it works, it's crazy, but it works.
Well, it harmonized his body. And when we saw his heart failure specialist, which is the team that put in the new hearts that he goes to specifically, and told her what medicine I took him off of, she blew a gasket and wanted to go back on this and this and this. I go, I didn't say anything. I go, maybe you need to do a little more research on what this might do with frequency. She threw another gasket and I just ignored it. I never could go back on those medicines. I know he can't because he's only on what he has to be, 1 little teeny pill for the heart failure. That's it. All the 3 had to be gone. They lowered his blood pressure so much. They made him dizzy. They made him sick. They made him lethargic. And that's what the doctors are going to have to learn. They need to learn what this frequency is about because it's an education that they don't know.
Right.
So I don't blame them because they're only taught what they're taught,
Exactly. I always say you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So what else did we not miss?
Oh, the other area, my wrist.
Oh,
I
yeah.
used to have so much pain that I could hardly move it. I put the Q wave.
You had some stem cell there, but it didn't.
Yeah.
We needed more, but you didn't have it.
Q wave right here for about 5 minutes. And it's gone for the whole day.
Whoa.
Oh, another big one for heart failure. People who have heart failure are going to love to hear this. Tell them what a heart failure patient, that's a disease they'll give you a reclining bed, a cheap one. You have to really go get a good one. So why does a heart patient need to have a reclining bed? What's one of those major symptoms you have for 20 years?
Breathing bad.
Coughing at night.
So I'd have to set it at 40%.
40% angle, probably all the time forever. But what happened when I knew you were doing better, breathing better, not coughing, you weren't struggling to breathe, recline, and recline went down to about a 20%. That's where he sleeps now. Most patients are so bad they have to go from the bed and sleep in a reclining chair.
Yeah.
That's what a patient has to do. A congestive heart failure, not just a heart patient, but a congestive heart failure, because the fluid builds up in your lungs. Congestive heart failure. And so the reclining, so now we can sleep like that, which is like almost pretty flat when we're talking like that.
So would you say that that's indicative of less fluid on the heart?
Less fluid in the lungs, which creates less fluid in the heart.
Okay, got it.
Doesn't really go into the heart. It's the fluid actually goes into your lungs. It's part of the heart, but it's very detailed about how that works. But it's a heart lung problem. But it's that's why people have to take a water pill if they have to. He only takes a water pill now when I tell him he has to take one, not every day, not twice a day, not every day, none of that. So that's something that's learning. We've been able to decrease that water pill. Hardly takes one ever. but he's been in a program where we've weighed him on these very expensive scales for 20 years. So I know what to look for. People have to be educated. I'm not saying they're going to be able to go and do all of this and stop their medicine. They have to know how that patient is with that disease, because don't anybody take it for advice for being a doctor. I just know my husband because he's had it for so long and what I was able to do. And having this device has made him now sleep more normally.
Mm.
Or if he's at an incline that's low like that, and I hear him coughing or struggling at night, I'll say, Douglas, raise up your bed a little bit. And he'll go, but then maybe he'll go back down again. So it's something you can have, but most often you'll never go to a low incline at the ender parts, because he used to be at the end. There's 4 stages of heart failure. And then there's what's called the end stage. He was in the end stage, which means you're dead almost. So he got better. So he's back and forth all the time and all these different diseases. So, but here he's now with the device, he's down here sleeping again.
Yeah,
That's good.
That's amazing.
It's a blessing in itself, because now you're not struggling to breathe. You're not coughing all night long. You're not getting all that fluid into your heart chamber that goes into your lungs. So it's the device has done that and made it good for him.
So
That's lovely.
my suggestion to everybody listening to this, they should have the Q wave to prevent these problems if they don't have the problem.
Yeah,
Oh,
because heart disease is still the #1 killer of both men and women. And
Yes.
there's just not that awareness like there is with cancer,
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So is there anything else that you want to report as far as a benefit?
No, I think,
We're good?
Yep.
So then the last question, and the most exciting one, is pretty soon, Doug, you're going to have a healthy 30-year-old body. And you're going to have wisdom and experience to apply to it. What excites you about that?
Being the father of Ryan.
God.
Oh,
That's in my videos.
we're going to have to put yours up first. Wow. Well, you just gave me chills, even on my legs. That was a good one.
Oh my goodness.
What else?
Well, like telling your brother who has Parkinson's, who has no belief, you'll be able to go see him and show one.
Oh, if after that happens, he hasn't believed any of this. He says, once that happens, I'll have to give him your phone number for the organization so he can come and talk to you.
Because he has Parkinson's disease, but won't believe anything good's going to happen to him. So on the phone the other day, he goes, I'll come see you when I'm out of the arc.
Yeah,
he goes, okay, you do that.
He's on a walker also.
Well, Parkinson's is such a decline.
Yes.
Physically. So,
Right.
people will believe. Is that what you want to show people? On what they can believe to see to be true.
Yeah.
Again, it's all about showing the truth of what can happen.
Yeah. And
So-
that's what, I feel like QHS is going to explode post Q-ARC,
Oh, it is.
because people all of a sudden are going to see this huge thing. But honestly, the testimonial videos I feel are very helpful, and, showing the shaking with your hand, and I should look up and see if there's anything Parkinson's, in there already. But neurological improvements, we've heard from other people, neuropathy, things like that, they've had results. So
Will you call us with what you find out about
No,
Parkinson's?
I can look on the YouTube.
Oh, okay.
oh yeah, you can search up on our channel. You can search. I'm actually going to make a video. I'm doing a new member orientation for the new website, but I'm going to show people how they can search up. Like, if pain is a huge one. So if I just search up pain on our channel, all these videos come up.
I can't get over how young you look right now.
Oh, thank you.
You look very good for being the age that you are.
You should say beautiful, not good.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. I have parents that are the exact opposite. Like they were very sick, unhealthy all their lives. So, I started working out in college and I just started studying nutrition in 2007 because I didn't want to go there, and so I work hard, but I'm not going to say addicted, but I love fitness and I love eating healthy.
Yeah, we eat healthy. We eat very healthy.
Yeah. I mean, because it's important and most people don't know. They just do what their parents taught them. And so, but what else are you going to do? I want to hear about your plans post QArc.
We are going to, after post-arc, and once we have the RV where we get the money that's coming from that, we're going in partnership with someone out in Arizona and raise thoroughbred horses.
Well, we're gonna rescue.
Yeah, and then rescue other horses so they don't become horse meat.
Aw, are you going to move to Arizona?
One of the places.
Part of the time.
And but health centers, spiritual retreat on the property with the horses, the horse therapy with the people therapy, all of it combined together. So it's going to be, and then building some yurts, which are going to be on the property that we fund the people to stay. It's going to be just the beauty of the nature and the healing of the people, the humans, and the horses.
Oh, I love it. That's going to be fun. I feel like there's such a synchronicity within our community that this is on many, many people's agenda, is having some sort of a wellness center.
Yeah.
So exciting. Well, Doug, after QArc, will you come back and have another conversation with me?
I certainly will.
I can't wait. And I may see you in Salt Lake, since you guys are Platinum VIPs, which I want to thank you for supporting this beautiful project. So that would be fun. I can't wait to see all of y'all.
We'll look for you.
Okay. I'm sure that I'll be there interviewing you, walking out of that recovery room, looking young.
With a smile on my face.
Well, I have to say, you already have a beautiful smile, and I was loving how you were looking at your wife with this endearment. It was just, I noticed it when she was talking. It's very beautiful.
Thank you.
You guys are blessed. Well, thank you both for hanging out with me today. It was lovely to meet you, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thanks,
Have
Tracy.
a beautiful day.
Thank you for making this QHS project fly. This valorous admin team, thank you. The Key community welcomes you. Thank you for making your home QHS healthy and happy. Thank you for helping us place QH centers all around the world. Together, hand in hand, we make miracles happen. QuantumHealingSystems.org. Thank you.